Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to be doing homeschool art today. We are going to be doing the Great Wave off of Kanagawa by Hokusai. He's a Japanese artist. This was really a woodblock print, but we are going to do it today as a watercolor. So this is the artwork that we are going to do today. So we're going to work a little bit in warm colors and cool colors and work with some line. Okay, so we're going to need to do this project, we're going to need a pan of watercolors, a pencil, a Sharpie, a cup of water, brush, and I am going to use a little white acrylic paint at the very end for this. So we're going to start off with the pencil. And we're going to add our Great Wave first. So I'm going to start on, you can do this either from the right or left hand side. I'm going to do a wave which comes up and it's pretty big and comes in a big curly Q almost. And I'm going to do a line which follows just alongside of it. Okay, and comes to a point. Okay, now I'm going to add a second weave here. Okay, and I'm going to add, this is going to be our white cap part, so I'm going to add a white cap on this as well. And now I'm going to add a third wave. Okay, there. I'm trying not to do my pencil lines too dark, that way when I have to erase them, you won't be able to see them, especially when you're working with watercolors. That's sometimes an issue. I'm going to finish off the bottom of my wave here. So I'm going to come out like this. Okay. And I'm going to add a boat here on my wave. So for perspective, the wave was really large. It was a big tsunami wave. And there was a little ship on his artwork. So we're going to add a little boat. His did not have sails, but I'm going to add sails just because I can. And I'm also going to add, in the background, he always had, Mount Fuji was always in the background of all of his paintings and all of his woodwork, all of his woodblocks. So we're going to go up, and it was a big volcano, Mount Fuji. And if you don't know what it looks like, you can look it up. And I added some snow to the top. Okay. Now I'm going to add the lines to my waves. So we're going to give the way the lines go are going to add dimension to the shape. We don't want to do just straight lines. So these ones I'm going to do slightly curved. So it looks like the wave is going up. I had these ones go a little bit further. And I can add some extra lines in between. Okay, they don't need to be evenly spaced. Okay, for the second one, I want it to kind of look like the waves are going up. So I'm going to add, my lines are going to go up following this contour. And they're random wavy lines. For my third wave, I want my lines to curve this way. I'm gonna follow the line of my wave. All going to be curved. And again, I don't want them to be too close, too far apart. I'm going to add a couple random ones in here. They look a little too even to me. Okay, so there are my three waves. I have a ship and I have Mount Fuji in the background. Now I'm going to put my pencil down and I'm going to pick up my Sharpie. And we are going to carefully go over all of our lines to add our pencil lines. And take your time, don't rush. You don't get an award for finishing art first, other than maybe sloppy award. So we want it to be nice and neat. Okay. Okay. I'm going to start to go over my waves. Okay. Again, taking my time. Okay, now I'm going to do my last wave. I'm going to go up. I'm going to outline the white cap part first. Okay, I'm going over all of my waves with my marker. Okay, so I've gone over all of my pencil lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my eraser and I'm just going to erase all of my excess pencil lines that I did not go over nicely with. And this is one of the reasons why when you're using pencil, you want to do it very lightly. You don't want to make too dark of a line, otherwise it's too difficult to erase. And you want it to look nice and neat, especially when you're using watercolors, because you'll see the pencil line through the watercolors. You can also see it through marker as well, pencil lines. So I'm erasing all of my excess pink pencil lines. Squeaky. Okay, going over all of my lines. Okay. All right. Now I might add to the top of this one a second kind of a white cap coming out. That way it really looks like it's gonna engulf my ship. Just want that extra little wave there. Okay. So I'm all finished with my pencil and my marker. Now I'm going to move on to using my watercolors. Now, if you don't have a pan of watercolors at home like this, you can always do this in marker or crayon. But for this example, I'm going to use the watercolors, and I'm just going to use the warm colors and the cool colors. So I'm not going to put any water in the brown or the black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water to each cup, and this reconstitutes the watercolors so that they're easier to use. Okay. And I add just a little bit of water to each one. Okay. And I'm going to start with a smaller brush so that I can do my waves, so that I can fit into the littler spots. I will use a larger brush later for the sky. So I'm going to start using the cool colors. So cool colors are going to be purples, blues, and greens. Okay. And we're just going to randomly fill in. Do some greens first, and then I'll switch. So we're just doing the underside of the waves. I'm not doing this white part here is going to stay white, so you want to be careful you don't get in there. That's going to be our white cap for our wave. I'm going to fill in with some blue. Okay, I will get a little blending in between the two, and that's perfectly fine. I had to get out a second little container of blue. It's starting to run out. Make sure you don't get it in the white at the top though. Do a little purple. Again, if you get a little blending in between the two colors, that's fine. And the more water you add, the lighter the color is, and the less water you have, the darker the color is. So I'm going to do kind of a blue-green right here. So I'm going to add a little bit of green first. And I'll pick up a little bit of blue. And they're just going to blend together right on the paper. Okay. Just going to keep filling in. Okay. Another little blue-green. And I'm just going to keep going until all of my waves are filled in. Mix a little purple and blue. Maybe a little bit more purple in there. Blue. And you just keep filling in all your colors. Okay, I have one wave done. I'm going to do my other two. Do a little blending here. Okay, some green. More blue. And I just keep going. It's okay if your watercolors overlap a little bit. Cool colors all tend to play nice together, so a little overlapping is not a bad thing. Okay, I got some blue, a little bit more green. So the cool colors tend to put things into, make things look colder, obviously, because they're cool colors. So they're obviously used for things like water, and you can use them for snow and shadows. They usually work much better than trying to use black for shadows. Blacks tend to make your other colors look messy and muddy. Missed a couple little spots here. I'm going to just fill those in a smidge. I don't want them to be white. Kind of rushing. Okay, now I'm going to do my last wave. Okay. Again, they're going to be all cool colors. So we're going to have all cool for all of our waves. Just make sure you don't get into this little section here and here, because that's the white. And we'd like that to stay white. So I'm trying to be careful along the edge so that I don't get any white where I don't want it, or color rather, where I don't want it. Okay, I'm just going to continue on. Keep going. Just to blend a little bit, so I'm going to add a little water. Got a little dry. Run out of green. I'll make it to the end though. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm almost there. Okay. All right. A little bit more green. Okay. Purple. Okay, almost done with my waves. Good, because I'm almost out of green. So that's how that'll work. Be done when I'm done. Okay. Just be careful you don't get it up into the white section. Okay, so I've finished with my water. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of color to Mount Fuji. This part is snow, so we want to leave that white. So we're going to work in here, and I'm going to do Mount Fuji is going to be in purple. So when you're doing things in the distance, cool colors are usually the way to go. That way they look like they're further away. Cool colors tend to push things into the background. Okay. Okay. I'll mix a little bit of blue in here so it looks further back. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to start on my sky. So I'm going to put away my smaller brush and I'm going to pick up the bigger brush. And I want to do these in kind of sunset colors. So they're going to be warm colors. So warm colors are colors of fire, colors of the sun. So I have a bigger brush and I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to kind of do washes. So I'm doing wide streaks across the top. Okay. Okay. We don't want this to come out striped. So we're going to do some overlapping. So I'm being very careful up against Mount Fuji. I don't want to get it to be orange. And again, I'm going to be super careful right up. If you have a hard time being careful up against things with the bigger brush, you can use the small brush to either edge it or you can just switch to the small brush completely. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Okay. So I'm adding a little bit more orange. I'm going to get in here real careful because I don't want to get into the white. Okay, now I'm going to move into some red. Okay, and again we're going to make sure we overlap our colors. That way there's a nice blending. We don't want stripes of yellow, orange, and red. So I'm making sure that I overlap. Okay, and right here near my ship, I'm going to actually switch to the smaller brush just to make my life just a little bit easier. I want to leave my ship uncolored for now, but I want to get in between my sails. Oops, I got a little bit into my sail. Oops, I got a little carried away. I hate when that happens. This way, being careful around my ship. Okay, and I'm going to do a little blending right here between the orange and the red. That way, I'm going to go back in here and add just a little bit more red. I want it to be nice and dark. towards the bottom of the wave. So kind of a second coat almost of red. Okay. A little bit there, just to make it a little bit darker. Okay, and oh, and I forgot over here. A little bit of red. Okay, again, I don't really want it to be striped, so I'm going to try to do some blending in between. A little bit of overlapping. Oops, I got a little red in my white. There we go. Okay. So I did my sky. So my sky is in warm colors and my waves are in cool colors. Okay, I'm going to go in and add just a little bit of color for my ship. So I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit of brown. Just a little bit of brown for my ship. Maybe add a tiny bit of orange to it. I don't want it to stand out too much. Okay. All right, so at this point, we're going to add just a little bit of white to the tops of the waves a little bit, just to give it a little bit of, so this is just white acrylic. And I'm going to use the smaller brush so I have a little bit more control. And I'm going to